National Lampoon's Dorm Daze 2, College at Sea.
How do we kill it? Kind of cute, don't you think? Stay focused, Wang.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor, someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. Hope you enjoyed last week's interview with the amazing Jennifer Lyons, somebody I grew up loving so much. She married with children. Her stories about Ed O'Neill and being on set and how much he looked out for her, even taught her how to hold for a laugh in front of a live studio audience. Things like that are amazing. And of course, we talked about this week's sequel where she plays Lynn in Dorm Daze 2. But before we try to figure out what the actual plot is of this movie that made me feel like I was watching an 80s movie, which is pretty awesome, I have to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Doug, how are you doing?
Pretty good. I feel good that we're watching, not like any of the movies that we've covered recently, or like, well, a few have been pretty bad. I guess so. Munchie, Next Karate Kid. But this movie, going into, you like know what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes. I think the problem with this movie, the problem I had with this movie is I'm watching it at my age now. I'm kind of way past like the college, horny sex kind of movie. So it's like the movie was a little rough. It had its moments, but I mean, it was just, maybe I'm too old now, but it was, I don't know. I just feel like it was forced,
Yeah, no, I think there was just, well, we'll get into it, but there was just so much going on. Even like I printed out like what the plot was for this movie, and even reading this, I'm not going to read the whole thing.
Hold on, there is a plot.
Well, what somebody thinks is the plot, I just don't know. There's just so many like mini plots, but there's no like, we know the main plot, which we'll get into. It's a diamond, but other than that, there's no other like, I don't know.
But even the diamond is like so at it, like it's only like it's the main plot, but it's almost comes across like a subplot because there's so much else going on that it's not even like the main focus. But the whole movie is basically based on the diamond, so it's weird. But I'll tell you right now, the best actor in this movie is the monkey, and without a doubt, the best actor.
Is it the same monkey? Like, I know there's other monkeys that look like that monkey, but it seems like it's always that monkey. There's no other.
Yes, the same. I bet you it is. I bet you that. Well, now that you're saying this, when we've asked this question multiple times, is that monkey in SAG?
I wrote that down. I was like, it must be. And then you got to think Ace Ventura, Dr. Dolittle. And then I don't know how old if there's a zookeeper listening or a monkeyologist, if they could tell us, Twitter at sequels only. But you think about it, what's the other one? Zookeeper.
Yeah.
I don't know if the monkey's going to live that long.
Zookeeper, what's the movie that recently, Contagion? Right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Same, again, this monkey or this monkey species has been in so many movies. So, but you know what? They do that a lot because even like in like Cannibal Run 2, they have the orangutan that is in many movies, with Clint Eastwood and like, so, I mean, I think they do that. I guess monkeys must live for a long time.
I think they do, but you know what? Do you think other monkeys like see this monkey or like the orangutan and they're like, what gives, man? Really, this monkey is the most popular monkey in movies. Oh, and then chimpanzees and then orangutans. There's a lot of monkeys, but we don't see them. Maybe they don't like the, Hollywood life. I don't know.
You know what? That's why they live such a long life. They stay away from Hollywood.
That is true.
They don't get caught in all the scandals and everything. You never see, TMZ following the monkeys.
Except this monkey. I don't know. He looks like he's probably like he was hanging out with River Phoenix at the Viper Room and Johnny Depp.
Well, I do feel like that monkey in a lot of his roles does a lot of stealing. So.
Oh, yeah, that looks like the same monkey in Hangover 2 that does the stealing.
See? And was he also, I mean, it can't be, but they live a long time. Was he in Indiana Jones?
He could be. That's his dad. But enough monkeying around. So My biggest thing about this movie, and I think it is in a way smart, because you take a familiar face and you make them, I guess, I don't even know who the star of this movie, really.
Okay. Let's clear something off the table right now.
Yeah.
This movie has a lot of hot girls in a movie.
Yes.
Yet every single guy is a total dorky nerd. There's like such a discrepancy between the girls and the guys. Why? Because in real life, not one of those girls would look at the Sherminator.
Oh, the fact that Rachel, who, when I looked up at her IMDb, I was shocked that she wasn't in other things, because I think she was good in this movie and she's super attractive and she's in like 4 things.
I think she was one of the best looking ones in the whole movie, if not the best one. But every single guy, like even like the leader of the guy, like was like dorky. Like you look at American Pie, yeah, some of them, I mean, like, but for the most part, they weren't ugly, like dorky kind of like this movie. Like this could have been Revenge of the Nerds. Exactly.
But at least Revenge of the Nerds, to talk about like the plot of the movie, there was the Jefferson Darcy, Ted McGinley character to go against the ogres. Right. In this movie, there's really not. There is like the suave drunk guy that sleeps with all the girls that's in the play. Maybe him, or there's the guy that's in Friday the 13th, the reboot. He is in this movie.
It seems like they're going against themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it is. So like the villains are the same as like there is really no villain except I mean, I don't know, Dante. I guess he's the only villain, like but outside of that, like really, like there was no villain. Like they're like all just against each other. It's like I almost feel like it's Rusty's movie. Is his name Rusty?
Oh, I like Rusty.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I almost feel like it's his movie. It's like he's the main character. Even though I don't really think
I think he's the main plot. Really, I agree with you. It's about him getting laid, which is crazy. All right, let's start with the movie. So we have Sherminator, which it's terrible that looking at this, I don't even know what his real name is. Well, I have the cast list, but listen, Sherminator.
I don't care what his real name is. No, you look at him; he's a Sherminator. Like he's it really like you want to talk about typecasting. I mean, like. He's Sherminator. He can't do anything else without being called Sherminator.
Yeah, and he gets Shannon Elizabeth in American Pie 2 somehow. But again, talking about this movie, the first movie, it's the redhead catcher from Sandlot. He's best friends, which again, he's cooler than all these guys. He's best friends with Sherminator, and his whole point in the movie is Rachel, his girlfriend, then she's a virgin, he's a virgin. He's like, I'm going to get you a prostitute because you have to get laid right now. Okay. So he gets the girl, end of the movie. The movie opens up. Again, he slept with one girl.
Who, the Sherminator?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rachel. So in the beginning of the movie, he thinks he's this hot shit. He's going on like, again, we'll talk about what kind of competition this is.
Okay. Yeah.
And so he goes, he's like, yeah, babe, I got to leave. And she's like, but I got some news. And he's like, I think we're better, apart. And I'm just like, why?
So he's dating her from the first movie? So they dated in the first movie? Okay.
Yeah. And this like right after they had sex. So like,
was she nerdy in the first movie?
I guess she's sort of nerdy. But not nerdy.
Well, she doesn't look nerdy, but I mean, like, was she also like a virgin in the first movie?
She was, yeah. That was the whole thing that she wouldn't put out. She was waiting for like the right moment, which is
because she seems really into Sherminator. So I mean, he must be,
exactly
hacking. Okay,
yeah. I wrote later in my notes.
It can't be anything else.
Later in the notes, I wrote she's really hung up on Sherminator. He must be hung.
Did you say hung up on purpose?
Yes, I did. So is this a real thing? I've heard like semesters abroad, but the fact that it's semester at sea, and honestly, I didn't know until the end of the movie that I thought it was all the same school competing in this competition, but it really wasn't. We only saw like it was basically
one school. We saw one school.
Yes, it made to me when they said that at the end. They're like, out of all the schools, I'm like, wait, there's more than one school on this ship.
I don't think so, because you really don't see anybody in a ship except the same 5 people from the one school. But then you only see one other team compete if you really want to say they competed. I mean, they they're topless, which, is a winner in my book. But I mean, I know, like, they're here to compete in a play. I want to know who's the casting director for this play, because they are all horrible in their roles, in the behind the scenes, like there's not one person in the play that's good at their job. So how do they cast them, and what makes them think they can compete?
Yeah. So exactly. So the fact that Robin, who is in charge of everything, so I'm sure she casted these people. Yeah, the fact that they didn't until we see them actually do the play, which we'll get into later, of course, they're just reading the lines, like just reading the lines. They're not even, and I'm thinking, like, is this how they're going to say them later? Obviously, they ham it up a little bit, and it's a little funny, but why are they even trying to do this? They seem like they don't care. They don't
care. It looks like they've never done this play before. Like, if they're going to compete in a competition, wouldn't you think, like, this is something they've done already and they did so well that, like, they was recognized to go on the shit? Like, here it looks like it's the first run. Like, they've never done this play before. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
It is true. It's just like, it'd be cool, maybe just a little bit in the beginning of it. I don't think the last one, when they finished the last one, at the end of the movie, I don't think it leads into a sequel. But why not at the beginning of the movie have the buddies hanging out and be like, hey man, semester at sea, it's like, oh man, this would be so cool to do, but you have to try out for this play. Do some quick 5-minute montage. But the fact that we're already on this ship, and then we find out these people don't even care. Nobody cares about what they do.
No, and okay, so they're there for the play, yet you have a history teacher or an archaeology teacher and the dean. Like, it seems like it's like, I would think like an English teacher, maybe, it's a play. Like, why an archaeology teacher and the dean? Yeah. Like, again, like it does, just nothing makes sense in this whole movie.
Yeah, and they showed one other teacher for like a half a second for like one little scene. I'm like, oh, maybe this guy's gonna be something. No. They just showed him talking and pointing at a chart. Yeah, it was just before we saw Mr. Sheffield from the Nanny start his class with all the women like fawning over him. But oh man, so let's talk about the dean. So the dean is actor Larry Drake. He's been in a ton of stuff. He was on Darkman. Darkman.
Yeah.
I was very sad when we started this podcast journey. One of my favorite horror movies growing up, on VHS, my dad got it for me. It was called Dr. Giggles. Yep. It was like a staple at every sleepover. And so when I started this podcast, my buddy goes, dude, you got to interview Dr. Giggles. I looked it up and he died.
I was going to say, well, I mean, he looks huge in this movie.
Yeah.
So like he looked like he was at the end of his, I wonder if he died like soon after this, because he didn't look. Well, I mean, he just looked over too big. Like, he was always a big guy, but not like this. He looked kind of sickly, actually. I think So, but yeah, he's great. I mean, wasn't he? He was also on a long running TV show, wasn't he? Like on St. Elsewhere.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that was on like a ton of stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, it was so cool to see him in this movie. Then you get and then again, all the stereotypes. You have the stereotypical stoners, and then you have. Again, we meet Rusty for the first time, and I think he is like the highlight of the movie, I think.
Correct. I mean, like I said, the movie, I mean, again, it's almost 2 hours, I think, right? This movie's like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a long movie, and it wasn't a breeze to watch. I mean, it was, I didn't laugh a lot. I really only laughed when Rusty. I think Rusty was good, and I looked him up. Was he in a lot of? I don't think he was in a lot of things either. Yeah, I mean, he easily could have been in a lot of other teen comedies, because I mean, I think he played the role very well.
Yeah, he has that. If somebody was casting him, they'd be like, "I need a guy that looks like Steve Zahn." He has like Steve Zahn look to him.
He does,
but he had great line delivery, even when he was signed up in the absence groups and Vida Guerra, FHM Model of the Year, over and over again. And in this movie, she was she was like very tame. They made her look wholesome based on obviously what her character was.
She wasn't in the first movie, right?
No.
Okay, so was her dorky boyfriend in the first movie?
Yes, he was. And he was a super dork in the first one.
Oh, he's pretty dorky in this one.
I know.
I mean, and again, there's no way she would be with this guy.
Exactly.
I mean, no way. In fact, I talked about, the Sherminator's girlfriend. She's right up there, man. She was,
oh, I know.
I mean, honestly, you look at all of them. I mean, Lyons, Topanga, like it's tough to choose.
Yeah. No, there's definitely but there's so many nerds. There should have been like that guy maybe like battling for Vida Guerra's like attention. So maybe Newmar or like Rusty's obviously character was going for something totally different. But when she comes up, she's like, "Oh, I didn't know you're signing up for the absence group." And he said, "Oh, I thought I was signing up for the huge penis club."
He's very similar to Jim in American Pie. Like he had that like everything went wrong for him throughout the whole movie. And I could see like a lot of his scenes were like totally Jim would be the same way.
Exactly.
So yeah, no. That was pretty funny.
And then, like you mentioned, the nerdy guy, he's wearing a tricycle, and somehow this guy's wearing he's riding a tricycle on a cruise ship. He falls, and we find out.
No, it wasn't a tricycle. It was a unicycle.
Oh, unicycle, even worse.
Which is even worse.
I don't know. Is that? I guess a tricycle, you'd be like, "Oh, this guy can't ride a bike."
I mean, well, yeah, but I can see like a tricycle for like comedy purposes, like on the ship, But a unicycle, I mean, first of all, it takes talent. I mean, it's not easy to do, but it's just so bizarre. It just like it doesn't make sense. Like who does that? Some
unicycle rider just stopped the episode.
In college, one of my fraternity brothers, he was a little overweight. He played football though, and he was able to ride a unicycle and juggle flaming torches.
That's a talent. Put that on the resume. So then we get Topanga, Danielle Fishel, we got Jennifer Lyons, and then we see them reading scenes. Again, at this point in the movie, and before you see the play at the end, you're just like, what is this? Obviously, it seems like it's some Clue-ish kind of like whodunit murder mystery.
I just like how that you keep seeing that rubber glove everywhere, and like it's like it just so stupid. You're right. It was kind of Clue-ish.
Yeah, the rubber glove thing. I had so many like guesses in the beginning, and did we ever really find out who had the glove that got caught with it? We kind of know who admitted to things, but that was it.
Yeah, but then he admitted he didn't do it. Like he didn't mean to kill the one guy.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense because multiple people had the same rubber gloves.
Yeah.
I mean, Dante had it in his back pocket in the beginning. Yeah, I know. It's.
I was just thinking of that because I remember watching. I'm like, I wrote down like, I think that it's this person. Later, I was like, maybe it's this guy, and then we never got closure, like official closure.
I mean, when you see the villain, I guess you see his body at one point, you knew it wasn't a skinny person.
Oh no, yes.
So I think that was the only clue that kind of, because I mean, I had Dante the whole way. I mean, I thought they were just so dumb, like the way they were doing it. But yeah, when you see his body, you're like, all right, it's got to be the captain.
Yeah, that's true. now I remember the part that I'm thinking of. Yeah. So then we have Topanga, who her character, she's Marla, and Jennifer Lyons is Lynn. They say, absence group, why are you going to this? And he said, if I didn't already get a DUI, then I would drive a bus through your vaginas. Honestly, every line he has in the movie is like gold. Everything that he says, he's like that character at the movie. You couldn't have more of them. Well, I guess you could have, but if you had too much, maybe it wouldn't land as much.
Be right. I agree. I think they had just enough of him because again, he was the funny part of a movie that really wasn't funny unless he was in it. Yeah. So it's like they broke up each scene with him. Yeah. But again, talking about like not having a plot, I feel like each character had their own plot. Like,
exactly.
It's just so weird. Like the whole Topanga and Lyons. I mean, like that was a running thing throughout the whole movie.
Yes. And it really didn't end. Really? They didn't have like closure to it?
No.
Yeah.
They still have us guessing. Like, okay, so I mean, like, well, guessing for Topanga. Obviously, Jennifer Lyons' character was all for it.
100%, yeah.
Right. But Topanga, like, you still don't know.
Yeah. So then right away, like, us talking about it before, about the groups and the people competing, right away we get womanizing objects. We're watching them on stage, and all they did was hold their noses, and they said, wee you, wee you, wee you. And I think they're already, I don't know, are they already nude at this point?
No. They
practicing.
Oh, you mean when they put the play on, you mean?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm sure I would have wrote down that they were nude in my notes.
They were not. No, it was one at a time. They started.
Oh, okay.
So so it came out like, what's that artsy kind of like play?
Like Blue Man Group ish?
No, well, you know what? You've seen Saturday Night Live do it a lot too, when they do like it's like that artsy, like spoken word kind of like, like really artsy kind of play. So that's what they're doing. They're all dressed in black. They're all, like you see, and then the one takes their top off, and then the other one slowly takes the top off, and then they start talking about their breasts. And I love the judges. I mean, like Kato Kalin, you had
Dr. Joyce Brothers, and then the other guy, Ted Lang.
Yeah, from the Love Boat.
Yes, that's
he looks exactly. You didn't know?
I know. He looked familiar, but wow,
and he looks exactly the same.
Damn.
Yeah. So like, and their play was basically going topless, and I think that was foreshadowing, because who was it, Rusty, that said, if we all go naked or something like that, I think we're going to win, or something like, did he say something like that? And then later on, you kind of have half the stage naked.
Yes. They did. They did have some help from that. So then at the abstinence support group, Lynn and Marla, they say they're born again virgins, which I don't know if that's something that maybe a group would accept, but the $1 million question I have for you is the redheaded fat lady who's smoking a cigarette. Is she a student?
That's a good question. I don't know.
It was just bizarre because nobody seemed like they knew her, and it seems like really small.
And I was going to say, she kind of came out of nowhere. Like, you had like these, you had the characters there, and she came out of nowhere both times you see her. You only see her twice, and she came out of nowhere both times. She kind of reminded me of the teacher in Porky's.
My God, I was just thinking that. And that scene, I thought that was going to happen.
Yes. So she could have been her daughter. I mean, she looks a lot like her. But yeah, you know what? I honestly did not think about that. Like, if she's a teacher or a student. I'm assuming she's a student. I mean, she was showering with the other students. So, I mean, can't imagine a teacher showering with them. So, I mean, I
don't know. Cavendish should probably be right in there with them. Sleeping with students. So we see his class for the first time. Seemed like pretty much all girls in his class in bikinis, fawning all over him.
I wrote that down. So like that, their class is just wearing bikinis. That's and again, you're on a cruise ship. Who's really going to pay attention to class? When you're on a cruise ship.
Exactly. And the fact that it seems like that, again, the plot could have added something, because it seems like he went on this cruise, and it just so happened that this cruise with this play on it, that's for competing. There's teachers there to teach.
Well, maybe he's the one. I'm assuming he's the one that kind of set the cruise up for whatever reason. Maybe
that's what I mean.
So he had to be involved somehow. Again, that's why they're archaeologists there. I mean, like, it makes no sense for that teacher to be there, but maybe he's the one that set it up. Maybe he's the casting director.
Yes. Maybe he is
sleeping with the casting director.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Yeah, it just made no sense that he was there. And it just so happened that this competition for these 3 horrible plays has to do with, they're going to stop at the island where I need to sell this diamond. So again, he is like an Indiana Jones type guy. And so his room gets broken into by a sort of larger person.
Well, you don't see the larger person yet. You just see like
that's
the glove right. Yeah. So you don't know.
In the trench coat. And he goes in, he breaks into like his safe, like steals a bunch of stuff. And then Cavendish gets in there and he has it hidden in a statue.
The key. Okay. Was that a male organ?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And he puts it in his mouth, doesn't he?
Yes, he
does it? Okay. All right. I was just curious. Like, did that make any sense? I mean, like, why would you need a key like that? You know, I mean, he's straight, I'm assuming. So, like, I don't know why that was the key he had.
Yeah. And I just thought of something I'm going to write down and talk about later because I don't want to reveal who it is. But now what we just talked about before. Yeah. Well, I think it makes sense. So then we see the captain for the first time. I have his name here. Richard Reel in a ton of things. One of those great character actors, Office Space. Really, any movie you watch in the 90s.
Wait, who did he play in Office Space?
Isn't he the guy in Office Space that backs up and he tries to kill himself in the garage and then backs up and gets in a car?
Wait, is he the one they sent to the basement? No.
No.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy that when they interview him, they ask him what his job is.
Okay.
Yeah. I talked to the so-and-so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, a guy that's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And then we get his smoke show of a wife, Jasmine St Claire. She's Summer Solstice or Mrs. Bunkley, who I almost.
So she basically played the same role she plays in real life in this movie.
Pretty much.
Yes, pretty much. Okay.
Pretty much.
And the captain reminded me of Lassard.
Oh yes, exactly.
Exactly. Like I feel like they definitely ripped on a bunch of movies in this, and because we'll get to Weekend at Bernie's later also.
Oh, I love that. Me and Jennifer, we talked about that a lot. Because we brought up like comedies that you watch, and we're like, oh, this is like, when you watch a movie, this is silly, And then I was like, oh my God, that's in Dorm Days too. And we talked about that for a while. Awesome. Yeah, you mentioned before. So he's banging, Cavendish is banging Robin, the director, the writer of that play. I don't really know. It seems like she did it all, but she didn't want to go to the final performance. Kind of weird.
Well, I mean, would you want to show your face there knowing the disaster that, is the play? So, I mean, I can understand why she would. I just don't understand why she would take this job, or why is she surprised that it's not going well? That's what I want to know. Like, because again, it seemed like none of them knew their lines, and even the guy doing the lights screwed up left and right.
The guy who did the lights, that must have either been one of the writers, directors, or a friend, because he seemed like, every line, What, man? I duct taped the lights, and he just like he just seems so like it was one take. Let's get it over with. He didn't give two shits about anything.
What year did this movie come out?
2006.
Okay, so was it after American Pie? Or around the same time? Okay.
Oh, like 10 years, almost 10 years after.
I feel like they ripped on American Pie a lot too, having the Asian kid be the stoner.
Yeah.
Like American Pie and his friend. Like it definitely like they took bits from so many movies and created one.
Yeah, that's what those that's like that. Like, this is a B movie. It went, the first one to the movie theater. I don't know if this one did. First one didn't do too well, so maybe this is like straight to DVD or straight to VHS, which I don't know why. So then this is like where it's kind of revealed right away, but then I didn't think. So then we see the captain who's like, well, I don't even know what he was doing, cleaning a gun, or he was doing something on his desk. And it looked, and he had those gloves on.
No, he was cleaning a gun on his desk
with those gloves on. So like right away, I'm like,
correct.
Did they just tell us the end of the movie?
The same glove, yeah, but he had the same rubber gloves that Dante had in his back pocket when he was spying on the girl going into the teacher's room. So I guess they're trying to throw you off, or it's like, because I think those are the only two times you saw the gloves. So it's almost like they filmed the captain scene first with the gloves, and they're like, all right, you know what? This is too obvious. Let's just throw them in the back of Dante's back pocket. Let's just throw people off a little bit.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Like, I was just like, I think we know what's happening. So then I love when the captain's playing with a rubber ducky when Cavendish breaks in, because that's when the captain, right after that, when he's cleaning it, he says, oh, change of course. We're not going to be going to so-and-so. And Cavendish is with Robin. He's like, oh, crap, I got to go because I need to make this stop. And you get this guy that's like in charge of this huge ship. And he's playing like war in the tub with duck.
And he spends a lot of time with the students. Like, where's the other passengers? Like, are there other passengers on the ship?
It seems like there should be other schools from what they say later in the movie, but we see no one. We see like nobody. We see like 3 employees of the ship later in the movie in like Navy gear, like I guess that's ship gear.
No, even at the bar, like you only see them. Like you see the scene. First of all, the bar is empty except for 2 people every single time, or 3 or 4. Like you really see there's really nobody else on the ship. Like it's almost like it's the girls that took off their tops for the first play, and then this school, and that's it.
Yeah,
and not even this school. The 6 people that are in the play, and the dean.
And then now we have to talk about a character that we might have seen only. I don't know if we might have seen him yet, but it's Andy Barclay from Child's Play 3, the kid who played Andy, and he plays that over the top gay.
That's him.
Design. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Sheesh.
You know what? That character it feels like it was just thrown in there, and then like I almost feel like I thought that character was faking it. And
oh my God, yes. Because
right?
when that girl came to kiss him,
yeah,
and he turned and she gave him the coffee, he like gave this like look.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that would have been really funny if he was like really macho.
I thought maybe he was involved with like maybe he was the guy with the diamond, and like at the end he revealed that he's straight, like he's like in Clue.
Yes.
And I mean, so like, yeah, because he was so over the top. I mean, really,
it was. I don't know if he is homosexual, but if he's not, it's kind of like offensive. How over the top he was.
Oh, ridiculous.
There were some points I'm just like, okay.
I agree. No, and that was Andy.
That was the Andy that was only in the third one.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah, I wonder if he did a lot after this. I don't know. So then we get one of the stoners, and we get another pretty hot chick that is like a total drunk in this movie. Every time she gets drunk, she sleeps with someone. And they're trying to convince the dean. She shows up, showing her legs in like leather, and he looks over and notices,
and her top is open.
Oh,
she's sitting in her bra.
It is.
Well, it's funny. I didn't realize who that was at first. I thought that was Sherminator's girlfriend. They kind of look alike.
Sort of, yeah.
So I was until later on when they kept going back and forth, but I thought it was her at first. But yeah, I mean, and she's like sitting there like doing a Sharon Stone and like.
And again, why are these 2 people that are horrible in a play? Why are they up for a scholarship?
Yeah. And again, the kid's a stoner. So, I mean, like, he seems like he's pretty, like, wasted most of the movie. I don't think he'd be the one, to be up there.
And his convincing argument, not about, like, his GPA or his extracurricular, he goes, my dog just died. When he knows
he was going for the sympathy.
Yeah.
Well, let's not forget his best friend, the other stoner, who's an Asian guy. They were very creative with the name, Wang.
Yeah. Why? God. So then we get Cliff, who we almost interviewed. That guy was texting back and forth to me. James, I have his name somewhere, but yeah. So we were like texting back and forth. Never happened. But yeah, he's in this movie. He's a pirate bartender.
Was he in the first movie?
Yes.
Okay. Because like he talked to him like he was a big part of the first one when he was talking to him. Like I guess he got the other guy arrested or something like that, or what? I forget what the conversation was. Like he was surprised to see him there. But yeah.
No, they referenced the first one, and then just the fact that they almost forgot to write him in, and they're like, let's just have him sneak on the ship as a pirate bartender.
Was he a student in the first movie?
Yeah.
So how come he doesn't go to school there? He happens to have a job, like a job in the real world on a cruise ship.
Wasn't this like the summer? I think isn't this semester at sea, so they do this stuff in the summer, maybe. So maybe he should go home.
I wasn't thinking it was. I always think it was like a regular semester. You know, when you go study, like when you study abroad. I figured this was study. Yeah, I was assuming this was like during the school year. So
I don't know, or maybe he flunked out. He seems like he might flunk out if he's ready to go full pirate within like seconds.
Yeah, it's a funny part. So he was pretty good.
No, he was. Oh, dude, he's part of like another like really funny scene in the movie that they did twice. Both times I laughed.
Yeah.
You know, even though it was like the repeated thing. So, so we were talking about, oh no, you know what? I was wrong before. When we saw that other group that I mentioned, the 3 girls, we just saw them like practicing. We saw their name.
Right.
This is where I wrote down the judges. We got Ted Lang.
Okay.
And then, Kato, his line, everybody else says something very like in depth about the play. Yep. He goes, I like boobs.
Of all people, the cast though, they cast him. Like I don't know how this guy gets jobs.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? He might have been in because after the trial, then there was like reality TV shows started hitting. I feel like he did the rounds on all of them. This might have been around the time he was on like The Apprentice or.
Well, isn't he also in Sharknado? I think he's in one of the Sharknados. I think.
I'm sure.
Another guy that we're supposed to interview. He keeps every time I reach out to him, he keeps pushing me back a month. So
he's busy.
He is busy. And you know what? Another giveaway, by the way, for the mystery guy with the rubber gloves. He also is a heavy breather.
Yes.
So again, it makes sense who it is when you think about it.
Which again, it's not that hard. There's only like 2 fat guys in the entire movie. Well,
yeah, you know what? I was thinking it could have been the other fat guy.
I was thinking that too, because he was like kind of bitter, but
yeah.
So then we have, oh my God, this is where it just, again, makes no sense, like throughout the whole plot. So then we have Cavendish. So he is going to try to do whatever it takes. Once he finds out from the captain that he's not going to stop and they're going to have to figure something out. What was he planning on doing? Was he planning on like taking one of those boats and rowing to get to it? And the fact that he's selling this diamond for $20 million, again, maybe a diamond's worth that much, but that this guy is only going to buy this diamond that he wants to pay so much money for that, shouldn't he have said, hey, how about this? You come get it. I'll take 15.
Right. No, 100%. You know, I wonder if are there diamonds that big like that?
I don't know.
I mean, it looked like overly large. And what are the odds of having the same exact diamonds in a play? Exact same diamonds.
Was that a plan? Whoever put this all together, not the Mr. Body, but whoever put this whole thing together, is that they knew that play would be that?
Mr. Body.
I don't even know what diamonds look like. If there's any diamond finders or excavators or dimologists.
But that size, I mean, that's oh, you know what though? Is that the same kind like size that Indiana Jones goes after? Like or one of those movies, like, you know, I feel like I've seen it somewhere.
I love our references. It's just movies that diamonds are that large. In real life, they're not that big. But yeah, so then at that bar, Rusty sees the captain's wife, hits on her, no luck. Which again, the reveal with him and her later.
Does he recognize it? Like, or he thinks he might.
Not yet. He says, yeah. He goes, yeah.
He thinks he recognizes
really
her.
Familiar.
Yes.
Yeah. And I wrote, this is a line. I think you'll agree with this. I wrote, I can't live in a world where any chick will just make out with Sherman. The fact that him and Rachel see each other and they're kind of like, oh, they're like bitter towards each other. She starts making out with some guy. He grabs a random girl and they start making out. And like,
she's good looking again. Like, she's good looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only in the movies.
Only in the movies, Sherman.
By the way, he again, I don't know if he's in much more. I'm going to say it again. He's always Sherminator, no matter what.
Yes, even in I forget what commercial he was in. He played the same guy. He played like he did like some commercial in like the late 2000s. And I'm like, Sherminator. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure he gets a ton of money.
Oh, easily.
Comic cons and autographs and stuff. Just saying, doing his line. I've been sent from the future. Boom. Gold. So here's the best part of again, Rusty, best part. This part, I don't know how it gets written in. So these stoners are out of weed, which makes no sense because they smoke weed later in the movie. So I don't know where they find it.
Well, I mean, not to mention that most of this seems to happen on the first day. So
it's all the first,
right? It's all the first day. So if they're like true stoners, I think they're going to pack for the weekend. You know, like, I mean, how long for them to be out? And again, it's not even a full day. You know, it's still light outside. So for them to run out this fast, they're not really good stoners.
Well, actually, they're perfect stoners because stoners would probably be like, dude, we got to bring the pound. Okay. So grab the pound of weed. And then when they get there, they forget. That's an effect of marijuana is forgetfulness.
Yes, it is.
I was going to try to do like a recall, like pretend that I didn't hear that or say something again, like stoner joke. But when they go up to the one guy's like, they say, no, I don't have it. And he goes, yeah, did you ever smoke monkey bones?
Well, no, don't they go to the Russian guys first, right? Was it?
Well,
yes.
The Russians those are the guys that sit. Do they mention the monkey bones or no?
No. The monkey. Okay. So they're sitting at a table with the Russian guys first, and they want ridiculous amounts of money, you know, so something like that. So like they don't have that, and like these Russian guys look like typical like Russian mobsters, like it's like the shadiest. So then the next scene you see the guy who owns the monkey, and like he's doing something, and like the monkey's either stole something from him or screwed up. He goes, I'm just going to grind you. Like he said he's going to kill him or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's when he decided to talk to the guys about the monkey balls.
Well, there was a guy before there was a second guy in between. There was a guy talking. Yeah. So he was talking to the kids and he's like, you know, give you grounded up. Yeah. And he goes, $200. And he's like, $200. That's a lot of money. We only have $100. Right. And then that's when the other guy pissed.
Yes. He popped out of like his little hole in the side and because he heard it, because the other guy mentioned monkey balls, and that's why he came.
No, it's monkey bones. Wait, why do you keep saying monkey balls?
It was monkey balls.
Oh, don't tell me that. I thought it was monkey bones.
Well, I hope I'm wrong. I could have sworn it was monkey balls.
No, because then they had to kill him. You don't have to kill him to cut his balls off. How are you
gonna take his balls out without killing him?
Knock him out.
You think a monkey's gonna sit there? What? No. I could have sworn it was monkey balls.
Well, both scenarios are just at hold the. So what do you kill the monkey?
Guys, so monkey bones. Yeah, but how you're gonna grind the monkey? Like I think the monkey balls you can just throw on there and start smoking it. Bones you really can't light.
Oh no, what I'm saying is that's why you don't grind balls. You like puree balls.
You don't have to grind them. You can just heat them up right there. I mean, I think it's got to be balls. Balls is funnier.
That's really
how did
funny.
How did both of us miss what they're saying throughout the whole movie? Like, so it's not even the first. I mean, we heard that term multiple times, and all I heard was balls, and all you heard was bones.
We'll see.
Every single time.
Who's right. We'll see. We'll check who's right afterwards. But God, that's funny. So then Cavendish, he's drinking alone, and then we see the mystery man with the odd color blue gloves, and he spikes the drink of the captain. This is when the captain takes the phone call. So this is when the captain is like, "Oh, I got a bolt," and then the one girl is going to drink it. I forget her name. The girl that was trying to flirt with the dean. And yeah, dude, that whole part, then the guy cared enough about her that he slapped the drink and ran, whoever it was.
It was Dante. Wasn't it or no?
So it was Dante at that part? No.
First of all,
no, he liked God, there's so many of the names are so
he liked the professor.
He liked Robin.
Okay, you're right. First of all, we really haven't talked about Dante at all. Can we talk about him for 1 second?
Oh yeah, let's talk about him.
Okay. So first of all, he looks like Marilyn Manson.
I was thinking he looks like Gene Simmons' son, but
so if Gene Simmons and Marilyn Manson had a baby, that's what they had. I almost feel like he came across a little flamboyant.
He did.
He did. Okay. So, but he was all after the one girl. So like, I was a little confused with him.
Yeah, because he was pissed at Rusty. He goes, "Why'd you leave your hat on the prop table?" And like that was like such a big thing that.
Well, he seemed pissed at a lot of people. Like he was just angry guy like throughout. But he just seemed like was he in anything? Because he also looks bizarre. Like I don't
think so.
He just all right, because he just looks like a real weirdo. Like it's almost like they put a casting call out for like someone like we just need someone who looks weird, and like this guy just made it because he wasn't a good actor. and like I don't know. We didn't talk about him, and I just had to say, yeah. No,
that's great. No, with him, like I didn't really think anything of him because I agree with you. I thought he was just gonna be like some angry guy, like some kind of stereotypical, like in the movie.
He was stalking her throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just excited to say that he looked like Marilyn Manson, but I didn't think Gene Simmons, but that's pretty good.
So, dude, how about when Cavendish is trying to leave and Topanga and Jennifer are like, "Do you want to hook up with us?" And I'm just like,
they see, yeah, but was that, why did they ask that? Because they were, up until that point, they were born again virgins.
Yeah, for like a few hours, I think.
All right, but I mean, like, but what put them over? Like, what was it that I don't remember? What put them over the edge to like break that?
I think them two. I think the sexual tension of them looking at each other.
Okay, so you think that was their way of saying, all right, we gotta stop this, like whatever's going on between us, and let's like kind of
yeah.
All right, so that was like kind of like the first step of like these two having an issue with each other.
Yes.
Okay.
Because then right away they like they were like looking at each other in a certain way, and then they saw him.
So this guy, all the hot girls want to sleep with him. Yeah. And he turns them all down.
Well, look at the nerds. It's all nerds. And you have him, an adventurer.
Yeah.
This guy has this $20 million diamond.
He has like sort of an English accent. He's from England, I think. Yeah. So, man, all right. I guess, it's with all those nerds, I think, yeah, I guess you're right. Although the one guy who sleeps with the alcoholic girl, he seems like he'd be in the cool group.
That's what I mean. Him and the guy, if you remember the newer Friday the 13th, the douchey blonde hair guy, he's in this movie barely. He sleeps with her the first night.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Was he one of the 15 naked guys that were coming out of the closet?
He was not. Who were those guys? Oh, was that all the other schools?
What, a male school? All male school? Well, you know what? You had the all girl school before on stage.
They should have had a couple girls in there. Jasmine should have had some girls waiting in there. Maybe. Oh, later in the movie, there is a girl in line.
Is there?
At the very end, yeah, one girl.
that line made me crack up because he goes and grabs it. I mean, I know we're not there, but he grabs the number 29 and he goes, "Oh yeah, there's about 60 people in line." He just picked 29. That was pretty funny.
Rusty crushing it. He probably just did that off the top of his head. So then we get Cavendish escaping from the Blue Glove Man. And he's going to shoot him. And Cavendish does the old like mystery movie. "I know it's you. I knew it was you." He swings his suitcase, knocks the gun out. It falls. And then the guy tosses him over. And dude, when he lands perfectly in that lounge chair, what were you thinking?
Did he toss him over, or did he fall over himself? I don't think he threw him over. I think it was
oh, was it from that when he swung, he fell?
Something like that. It was like, again, yeah. I mean, I don't think knowing who the mystery guy is, I don't think he could handle throwing him over.
Yeah,
the guy was heavy breathing the whole time.
That is true, but they did like scuffle a little bit, and he like fell back. I think
right.
That's what it was. Yeah, but yeah, so he lands right in the lounge chair perfectly.
Well, that's how Bernie did it.
That is true, but do you think he's dead right now?
I did think he was dead. I mean, because it would kind of defeat the purpose of him still being alive at that point. So I did think he was dead. And I honestly, when that happened, I'm like, I know where this is going. Like I knew, like at some. I mean, I didn't think it was going to go the direction it went with those two kids. I just figured, like, you know, like people would think he's sleeping, like, you know, the whole time. Like I didn't, you know. I mean, they took it to the next level.
Before we talk about that, I just have to mention again, we're living in a world that Sherman is saying to Rachel, who's an absolute 11, 12, she's hooking up with one guy. Oh, that one guy. What's his name? Stukas. She's hooking up with Stukas at that part. Yep. And Sherman goes, oh, you can only get with one guy? And he's making out with the three girls from the womanizing objects group. Yeah. What happened?
Yeah. Yeah. And they follow him back. They leave with him.
Yes. And then we get we'll talk about the what happened with Cavendish, but just to finish out that scene. So then Sherman and they happen to have rooms right across from each other.
Wasn't there someone else also? So it was the three girls. Wasn't there like another person with them? Another woman? Or was it just the three?
It was just the three girls.
Okay. Yeah.
From that womanizing objects.
Four would be too many for him.
Then I was just like, then I would have turned the movie off. I'd be like, this is so unbelievable.
Three I can believe, but four, forget it.
But the fact that they're doing the old, okay, we're going to out loud each other, because it seems like Sherman is really into, that was his purpose. He wanted to get out. And even though I think we a few times already, his buddy said, oh, you miss her, don't you? The fact that those girls listen to this guy who's really worried about his girl across the hall that's screaming like she's having like the greatest time of her life. And he goes to those girls, hey, why don't you girls get started without me? And they get started without him.
Yeah, that was and then you see his girlfriend on the other side. Like, so ridiculous. It just so dumb.
Yeah, Stukas passed out, which his loss, and she's just jumping. I wonder how many times has that ever really happened that two people are like, hey, my ex-girlfriend lives next door. I'm just gonna start yelling. Can you start yelling too?
I was gonna say, like, how real can that really sound if it's just her doing it? Like, it's and the way she was doing it. Like, you know, like it's so ridiculous. Like she was like making a big commotion. You know? I don't know.
Do you think Glenn Close could do that so good that you're like, Glenn Close is getting laid?
So of all the actresses that you could come up with, you come up with Glenn Close. I mean, you couldn't see like Jessica Biel. You couldn't say like, you know, like you come up with Glenn Close, who right now is probably in her 70s. That's what you come up with?
And she could sell it. Hopkins can do it too. He's 85, 89, just won Best Actor. I wish I could do a British accent because I would totally attempt him making sounds. Okay. So the
only thing worse that you could have said was maybe Betty White. That would be like, you know, like
I could never imagine, like, I know she didn't always sound like she does now. She always seems like she's yelling, but I couldn't imagine her like in a sultry tone. It would just be that yelling.
I don't know. That's weird.
Who's your favorite out of the Golden Girls on the spot? Rue McClanahan?
Oh, I would have it. I would say looks probably Betty White, but because Ruth is just so out there, you got to go with her. Definitely not. I mean, definitely not the mom because she's just old, even though she's the youngest one out of all of them.
I know,
which is crazy. But definitely not the mom, and definitely not B. Arthur. So yeah, I would say you have to go Ruth. You have to.
Yeah.
B.
Arthur would be in charge for sure.
Man, you got like old lady on the brain, man.
I do have old lady on the brain. All right. So yes. So then let me clear my browser history now. So then we get Rusty and Andy Barkley they find Cavendish, and this
No, was it Rusty? Was it Rusty, or is it the two stoners?
It was Rusty. No, it was Rusty and Andy Barkley, the over the top guy. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's them two, and the photos that they take are so great. Pooping, arm wrestling. They're even fishing in one.
You know, again, the pooping one is kind of creative. I think it's funny. It's like so stupid, but like it was very funny. Like, you know, I again, this part, as much as it annoyed me that they were totally ripping on Weekend at Bernie's, they were very creative with it. Yeah. So I think that's pretty good. So
they're
at
having such a good time.
They think he's just sleeping, or they know he's dead.
I think they just think he's passed out from maybe drinking. I think that's what they said. But the fact that, I don't know. Did they check his pulse? I don't think they checked his pulse. I just think they thought they were sleeping.
Well, I don't think they're smart enough to check his pulse. I mean, you know, but I wonder if they think, like, at what point do they know he's dead? Or did they never do?
You know what's funny? They don't tie that up either.
No, because after the scene, no one sees him again, right?
Nobody sees him. They mention his luggage later. But what I would have thought, what I think like could have been funny is when they're standing there and they're like, what do you want to do next? And then the dean walks up and they stand in front of Cavendish in the wheelchair and he rolls away.
No. He goes overboard. No, it is a dress.
He does, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean. Like he goes overboard. Maybe at that point, maybe if he just opened his eyes then flew over. But the fact that he's really forgotten. Like they talk about him throughout the rest of the movie, but maybe at the very end, he climbs up and saves the day or something.
No, you know, I like your idea that like he really is passed out. And then right before he goes overboard, his eyes open up and then he dies in the water. Like that would have been funny. That would have been like a Naked Gun thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. But no, it just made no sense that they forgot about some of these things. I don't know. Maybe they could have deleted the scene, but something with him.
You think there's deleted scenes?
I did fast forward to the end of the credits because I had this weird feeling. Nothing.
Surprise.
Yeah.
I think they could have deleted scenes.
Yeah. So I got to say, that was a magic wheelchair because that wheelchair did a lot of things. It went up like stairs, almost went into somebody's room. And I tried to think who it was now.
He's not fastened in there. So, like, how does he stay in there, like, upright the entire time? Like, a dead body, I would assume, at a certain point, would just, like, fall to the side. No, he's exactly the same pose the entire time.
And then I almost forgot until I looked at my notes. Blue Gloves actually tried to save him when he was going over the edge because maybe he felt that the diamond was still on him.
Right. Well, he was going for the diamond at that point. Correct.
Yeah. And then he lets him go and doesn't get anything from it. But, so then we get the stoners. They're sneaking a monkey back onto the the fact that this went farther than some guy offering them, hey, do you want to smoke monkey bones or balls, whatever it is? And that would have been funny in itself. And then maybe they offer some other ridiculous exotic animal. Hey, you want to smoke some zebra? Like those jokes could have been there, but I do like that they went with it because I love Choo Choo as a character in this movie. He was great. He stole so much stuff.
What did I say in the beginning of the movie? He's the funniest part. He's the best actor in the whole movie. He really is. I mean, like the things he does is great.
Yeah.
But no, 100%. Like he really was like a character in itself. You know, he literally stole every scene.
He did. And he's pretty good at convincing these stoners that really wanted to smoke him. And it didn't take much convincing for that not to happen. But I love when, I don't know who it was, maybe it was Andy Barkley walked in or Rusty, and they're playing the video games. And Wang goes, this is Choo Choo. We almost killed and smoked him, but now we're teaching him video games.
By the way, one of my notes here has the dean also has rubber gloves. I don't know.
We see it. Yeah.
So I forgot. So like now you see rubber gloves. 3 people have it.
Yeah, and I was trying to think of like, what would be his like, what would he get out of doing that? Like that's what I was trying to think throughout the movie. Like, what could be? Obviously, again, it's a diamond that's $20 million. Anybody could really like want that, and
how'd they all know about it?
Well, I guess he kind of talked about it, and I think that.
Yeah, but how did they know he has it?
Oh, that he has it? Oh, I don't know. It makes no sense too.
And how did he get it? I mean, again, to have a diamond that big, there's got to be I can't imagine a professor at a college having that.
Yeah. So when we get to the end, we'll go through like theories about how they got to this point. Cause it makes no sense. Really. It really doesn't. So then we get Newmar, who's really barely in this movie. You barely see him. And he's more of I guess he's kind of the same character in the first one. He's like a Disney kid. I think he was in a bunch of Disney stuff.
He looks like he would be.
Yeah. So then he's ready to set the mood for the first time with Vida Guerra. And again, his buddies are nerdy. Sherman, obviously, in this world, he's a stud.
See, the funny thing is, I thought he was like the leader, Newmar.
Yeah.
But you're right. He's barely in the movie, except for the scenes with his this girl, which again, he might be the dorkiest one of all of them. Like I really like I really can't picture which one's the dorkiest. I mean, I think Sherminator looks the dorkiest because he just looks like Sherminator. Yeah. But I swear, if he's listening to this podcast, man, someone better watch him for this week because he's gonna be pretty depressed. But yeah, I mean, like is he also a virgin then, Newmar?
Yeah.
Still? So still.
Yep.
Okay. So they're both virgins at this point.
Yes,
which I find hard to believe. Okay. Well, Newmar, I believe, but
yeah. But the fact that he goes to his buddies, again, one guy gets a lot of girls, so maybe his advice I'd take. But Rusty, who again, I think he's the funny guy. He might have convinced a girl one time to do it, but he hasn't. And the fact that they suggest porn, and he goes, yeah, why not? And dude, Rusty pulls out like a treasure chest of porn. Like
very neatly organized, like yeah. Well, yeah, the question is, are they all virgins? Like is Sherminator virgin too?
Not anymore. No. He slept with Rachel at the end of the first movie.
Oh, he did. Okay, because Rusty's clearly a virgin also. So I was wondering if they're all, again, it's the American Pie thing, like they're all virgins. So was that the story in the first one, basically?
Well, the first one was just about the redhead catcher from Sandlot, Patrick knew something. He goes to Sherman. He's like, you got to get laid, man. It's your turn. Okay. End of the freshman year or something stupid.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. But yeah, but he pulls out like it just all these movies, and the one he gives him, what's it called? Captain Bluebush?
Captain Bluebush.
What's the title? Like, is she blue?
It sounds like, well, she blows.
But I mean, but do you think she has a blue? I'm just trying to think of why that title? Like, they could have made up anything, and that's a title to come up with.
Yeah, it could have been a Smurf movie. A Smurf.
That would have been funnier. I just Captain Bluebush doesn't really sound porny.
Sounds corny. That's great. It could have been a Smurf thing, and when they showed the scene, they could just be like, "Smurf me."
Well, I could see Rusty watching a Smurf porn.
I can see that too.
Now, you think if they made a Smurf porn, do you think it would be a cartoon or adults dressed as Smurfs?
Adults, 100%. And I guarantee that's a thing. I guarantee if you Googled it.
But you think there's a real Smurf porn out there?
I'm 100%.
Well, I know there's an Edward Penis Hands.
See? There's an Edward Penis Hands.
And it's Alice Does Wonderland.
See?
So the Smurf.
So why not Smurfs?
Okay. That's true. Ugh.
And they're all sleeping with Gargamel.
All right. Wait. So you pick Gargamel over Smurfette? So the porn you're in your mind, Smurf porn is with Gargamel and all the Smurfs. So you're watching gay Smurf porn.
Well, no, I'm just saying he's got to be the focal point of the movie.
Well, I would think if you asked most straight men, they would have went Smurfette, and you go Gargamel.
Well, Smurfette, of course, would be played by Glenn Close.
All right.
Anthony Hopkins would be Papa Smurf.
Gargamel?
Yeah, no, he'd be Gargamel. Yeah. That's great. And I love that Newmar sells it to Vida Guerra. This is a big moment for her as a romantic movie. And I love that in the movie, not like with us watching the movie within the movie, that it's like cutting quick. The actual movie in the movie is cutting scenes. Like you see like Jasmine Summer Solstice start like hooking up with the guy, and then it goes to hardcore pretty quick.
Is it a real movie?
I don't think so.
So he sold it to her as being a romantic movie. I think within the first 5 seconds the movie's on, she should have realized this is not going to be a romantic movie. So how did she because she seemed into it. Like she seemed like, oh, this is like so sweet. Like, she's clearly not a movie buff, I guess.
It's not. Ooh, this Captain Blue. Oh, I think I've seen this before.
Well, even the title, does he tell her the title?
I don't know. But I'm sure the beginning of the movie has the title or something. Or maybe when it says like warning, this is an adult film or something. Could have put on Wild Things. There's a ton of movies that could have set the mood, but he's like, let me just get right to it. And the whole part from this is so cool, like the next like few minutes. But so then we get, we're talking about Choo Choo. He just stealing everything. Every time we see Choo Choo, he's robbing people.
He has a problem because he's not robbing things that people told him to rob. He's robbing things on his own.
He's just robbing anything.
So
even one part he brings Pete and Wang back random stuff. They're like, oh, awesome. Thank you, Choo Choo. Unprompted, he starts robbing people. So then we get a desperate Rusty who's at the bar, and he's trying to get laid. And Jerry is the name of the girl that when she's drunk, she starts sleeping with people. But the fact that he offers her the hair of the dog, and it's Everclear, and Topanga slaps it in his face. This scene I loved it.
He's burning his eyes. He can't see. Okay, so I do have some questions with this scene. So
I do too.
All right. Okay, so go ahead. You can go. Go ahead.
So he asks Sherman. Sherman helps him to go to the bathroom. Sherman sees Rachel talking to somebody.
First of all, the bathroom is a full shower place where 15 people could shower all together. Like, it's a bathroom. Like it wasn't a locker room. He took him to the bathroom because it said men here, women here. So first of all, it's a bathroom. So that's one question I had. But go ahead.
So two, it has to be that when he walks in there and he hears people talking, he does not know it's girls yet, right?
Correct.
When he says, what does he say? I hope you guys aren't looking. And he pulls his towel down and starts helicoptering.
He might have, at that point, when he first walks, because I think they yell. He might have heard something. I think at the point he did know, because it'd be kind of weird if he said that in front of a bunch of guys.
I don't know.
What about the fact that somehow he's in a robe?
Yeah.
I mean, he's blind. He can't see. So where's he? It's a bathroom. Where's he getting a robe from? And like, how's he finding a robe? Because Sherminator didn't go in with him. He went in by himself.
He let him go. Yeah. Right.
So somehow he was able to find a robe, put it on, and know where the shower room was. Again. So yeah. And then they start laughing at him. And all he had to do was touch the pole where the shower head was, touch a little drops of water and put it in his eyes, and now he can see everything. That's how he cleared his eyes.
Exactly.
And again, all these women are showering. You don't see Large Marge yet.
We do not see Large Marge.
And again, the second scene she's in, she just appears. And I want to say I'm glad we don't see her, because if we did, she would be one of the naked ones with the other women.
Yeah, it's almost like I think you said it perfect, and I was thinking of it before you said it. was that she was like the lady from the teacher from Porky's, because she was almost like looking out for the other girls, and she just starts whipping him with towels, and everybody starts like hitting him, and with such force that he flies over the edge.
This part was funny. This part was like so, and again, this part would be an American Pie part. Like this totally would happen to Jim. Which I think actually no, it does happen to Jim. In one of the American Pies, he falls out the window and he's hanging out. It might have been the reunion one or something like that. And he's got no towel on. It's like cops outside and all that. Or
that's when he puts glue. He uses glue instead of lube.
Yes. He comes out in leather and he's hanging from like the window with no clothes on. So actually, American Pie ripped from this movie. Because that came out later on. That's the last American Pie.
No, this was that American. I think it was American Pie 2 was the one that he glued himself when he says, okay, I glued myself to myself.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That maybe it was. Okay.
So this movie did rip from that one. So you're right. Yeah, I do love everybody's watching. Everybody busts into Vida Guerra.
Well, that scene also is just like everything. Like they're getting embarrassed. You know, they're pouring out. And like it's almost like not another teen movie they ripped on. Remember in the beginning?
Oh yeah, the birthday scene. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like again, or you know, it's just another thing. Like so, they have two scenes going on at once. And the fact that you have his ass cheeks constantly hitting the window.
I love his line. He was almost just so fed up with everything. He said, "Let me die."
Well, wouldn't you think like at that point he's hanging over water? Like, wouldn't you just let go and just get in the water? Like he's barely holding on to a towel at this point, or his robe, whatever. I mean,
that could have been good. That could have been good. He falls off, and then maybe he finds Cavendish or something.
Yeah,
to like give some closure to that, or maybe he found the suitcase.
Well, I mean, just for embarrassment purposes. I mean, at this point, clearly Sherminator's not pulling him up.
No.
I would drop in the water. Like I think that's the safest bet. And they're taking pictures of him.
Oh, dude, when they're putting the pictures everywhere, I love that. He's taking them down. They have like a whole like Xerox 100 stack of it, like smacking on the wall. God, that's so great. And then we have Choo Choo he actually finds the diamond. So he finds the real Pharaoh's heart.
Where did he find it? Did they?
He found it like in a little bag. I think that fell when there was that scuffle when Cavendish fell over. So he found like this little like baggy kind of thing.
Okay.
And they dropped it right into the proc box. Wang was like, "Oh, why'd you take it out of there?" And like dropped it in. Then we find out later in the movie how they figured out it was real, which is pretty cool. I did like that. Oh my gosh. So then again, so we get this play they're practicing the play again. No, just running through the lines. Robin's getting pissed off because Rusty can't nail the monologue again. So he goes, I gotta let off some steam. So he takes the same porno that he let his friend just borrow. That was like a debacle. He goes to let off some steam.
Oh gosh.
Captain's wife.
I thought this was like something else was going to happen. Like, I didn't think that I figured someone was going to walk in on him or something, like the girls, like it was total, you know, like, but yeah, this is where he realized. And, this whole between him and the captain's wife is like, just not even like just the rest of the movie. Like their interactions are hysterical.
Yeah. And they're so cool. Even though they did the same thing twice, but they heightened it the second time. But it's great when he goes to the house and he like begs her for sex. And then the captain comes back and he sees Cliff, the pirate, in the closet. And I love those scenes when he's like, "Oh, honey, I was thinking about taking a shower before I go down to the play later." And when he goes to grab the towel, the pirate hands him the towel.
You know, you see this trope in so many different movies, and it's funny every time. You know, when you're trying to hide from, you know, like, no, you're right. I mean, but it worked for Rusty's personality. I think it was a very funny scene.
My favorite part of it was the fact that, honey, we got one of those perverts in here again. And he like does like he's like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish like logo, and he's throwing down like, oh my gosh.
And he at one point doesn't he hit him like 15 times in a row in his face?
He beats the crap out of him.
But the guy just standing there, and he does like the old Popeye. I think he's like, doing like the Popeye move.
Exactly. And this captain is kind of dense when you think about what he possibly could have put together. No,
that's why he's Lassard. He's totally Lassard. He plays with toys, and he just, he's an idiot. Again, I don't know who made him captain. I guess the same person that made Lassard captain, or
that is true.
Commandant. Yes, you're right.
Which I don't even know if that's a thing. Commandant Lassard. Oh my gosh. So then Summer Solstice finally agrees, and she says, "Come back at 8:40, or it's never going to happen."
Well, it's pretty ballsy for her because he's holding her. He's blackmailing her. So I think he should have made the rules.
He should have.
Yeah, she doesn't seem that. I mean, again, like he threatened to tell everybody. So which even if he told, I would feel that if he told like the captain found out, I think the captain would like it.
Probably.
Like, was the captain going to kick her out? I mean,
so do you think he's the 8:40? Is there like an 8:10, an 8:20, an 8:30, an 8:50?
Well, clearly there's 29 people ahead of him.
I know.
So what time do you think she started?
I don't think she ever stops. It seems like it's just a marathon. As soon as he's working, she just has them all hiding everywhere.
Well, what I want to know is why, when he does go back, why like half of them naked? Was that like supposed to be all the same? Like, did they all get the wrong number by accident? Like she handed out a bunch of like 28s.
Well, she didn't have the deli counter thing up yet. That was after her husband. So I do like Robin because she's so fed up because, the other thing, she's thinking about Cavendish. She's worried about him because they were romantically involved. And the fact she's giving the pep talk to this play that she knows is going to be a complete shit show. She's like really calm. And she's like, and just remember your motherfucking lines. She was funny. There was a lot of characters in this movie. I think that's what I like about these types of movies is there's like a ton of people, and sometimes it works. Sometimes, like we talked about, there's so many different like subplots going on, like these little things, but sometimes it's cool. Like Animal House, there's like so many people stories that you're learning about throughout the way.
Well, you know what though? Honestly, the girl outside of Rusty, the girls ruled this movie. I think the Topanga Lyons, their scenes together were funny. I think, the what's her name? Is it Rachel? The
Rachel.
Okay.
Sherman, yeah.
No, not her. Well, yeah, she was good, but I mean, the one that likes Cavendish.
Oh, Robin.
Her like I feel like the guys, the stoners needed the monkey to make it funny. Like without the monkey, those guys were not funny at all. Like in the beginning of the movie, the Sherminator is not funny. Like I feel like the girls were like the best part of this movie. Without a doubt, and Rusty. And the monkey.
And Jasmine. Yeah, the whole Jasmine and Rusty part. So then we get, so then we get to part we talked about earlier, like when you and I both thought, which is pretty great, that Andy was like pretending to be over the top, like homosexual.
Yep.
Because that one girl, like when he kisses her on the cheek, he has like this weird look. Yeah. But at that time, the monkey like sort of dropped something in his drink. So I don't know what.
Well, the monkey's definitely a prankster. That was the drug that was supposed to go in that Rusty had, I think. That was supposed to go into remember Rusty was trying to give the alcoholic and it fell on the floor. The monkey stole it, and that's what he put in there.
Oh.
So, but with that being said, would that made the girl act more flamboyant if she drank it?
Oh, I don't know.
Because clearly the drug all it did was make him even more flamboyant than he already was.
Yeah, and so is that the same kind of thing that Dante put in Stuckis's drink?
Because he put in the wrong one, I think, because I think he was trying because he put in like a poison in that one.
Oh, okay.
So that's what he said. He goes, "Oh, he's only sleeping." So he put the wrong. There's a lot of like different drugs going around in this movie that are dropping people's drinks.
No, there's a lot. So I have to say is when the play actually is going on, it is better when the people are like hamming it up with the accents. But I do love that Jennifer, she's really excited with the diamond because she's holding it normal and then she drops it. It doesn't break. And it seems like, because he did talk about Pharaoh's heart, like during that quick little lesson that Cavendish did on the ship. But those kids who seem again that they're not smart, really, for nerdy kids, right away they all like look at each other like
no, they look nerdy, but they're not. I would say they look dorky. I think we had this conversation before between nerds and dorks, like which higher. Yeah. So I think they're dorky. I don't think they're nerdy because nerdies are smart.
Okay,
so
nerdies are smart.
So they would have known, like like Eugene in Greece or whatever. Like that's nerds. So Lewis and Gilbert, they're nerds. I think these guys are like more like Ducky. They're kind of dorks.
Was Ducky wasn't good in school?
I don't know, but he definitely seemed dorky. I mean, I again, and we've asked this question: can a dork be a nerd? I think a dork can be a nerd, but a nerd cannot be a dork.
Super baby geniuses too, over and over.
But I feel like when they were doing the play, I almost feel like they were doing a lot. Like it probably wasn't, but like improv a lot of it because it just seemed it was so all over the place that it was actually a funny scene. Like they seemed like they had a good time doing that scene.
No, it was funny, and I thought like Rusty, his part when he later when he comes in, the whole part's so great.
Oh yeah.
So then Stukas passes out, which is part of the play anyway, but he really does because he was poisoned.
Correct.
By Dante. So then they send out Newmar to stall while they check to see if this guy's really dead. And then all I could think about is how high stakes it is because later the dean says to Robin, he goes, "You're not going to get that grant that you're looking for." Was only she going to get it for being in charge of the play, or was it everyone involved? Because why would the other people be like, "Hey, we got to keep doing this play, even though this guy's dead right now"?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah,
they don't care. The only thing was Topanga and Pete right away knew that's the Pharaoh's heart.
Yeah, that's it. But his stalling tactic was so ridiculous. The sock puppet.
Was he wearing that sock? Those are like dad socks, like all the way up to your knee. I know he is a dork on a new unicycle, but was that what he was doing? Hey, I'm going to do the play. I'm going to do the rest of the play.
Maybe that sock was in his pocket.
Whoa. That was probably Sherman's sock, probably. Given that the girls are all over him.
Maybe he asked Sherman to borrow his sock. That definitely was Sherman's sock.
So then we have Choo Choo takes the diamond. So it's like Topanga and Pete looking at the diamond. They know Choo Choo takes it. I love that he says, "Choo Choo, I could have smoked you."
Do you think, because they really do talk to Choo Choo like he's a human? Do you think Choo Choo understands them?
I think so. I think a monkey with all these felonies, because he steals a lot of stuff. Really.
That's all he does is steal. He doesn't do anything else but steal. And again, like I said, he and not one person is like, I know like these foreign countries, they say be careful because like they train these monkeys to steal, like from tourists.
Yeah.
But he's not stealing for anybody but himself.
I know. I love that this whole time, every time they cut to the crowd throughout this final like performance, they're loving it. They're going nuts, slapping knees, going insane. Even the judges are like enjoying it throughout. And here's the next part when he goes back, Rusty, when they're like, "Rusty, your scene's in a few minutes," and he grabs the headset. He goes there. He's getting ready to knock on the door.
He was going to the captain's room first, and like he was running, right? This is when he had the headset because he said, "You're on in a few minutes." Again, he goes, "Yeah, so tell me when I'm ready." So he was almost at the door. Now, again, Rusty's not a small guy. So he does a lot of running to get there. And then the fact that he was almost there and he ran back, I would think at this point he wouldn't care about the play. Like I thought he would have, if you're Rusty and you have this opportunity, I would say, screw the play. I'm just going straight ahead,
Of course.
Yeah.
And again, he cares so much about it.
Correct.
Just like everyone else, that when he's leaving to run back, he sees Robin and he like ducks away. Yeah. And then he does like a James Bond, like throwing the belt over the line, breaking the lights, going through a little wall. For what?
Well, he's the main guy in the play, which again, casting director wise, you make him the main the main actor in the whole play.
She did nail it. It is funny the fact that she always is pissed that he'd never remember his lines, but when he was a little motivated,
he nailed it. Like that was a very funny scene because he was moving so fast. Yeah. Because even when he practiced, he was supposed to hand them weapons and he didn't do that. And in this scene, he hands everybody the weapons. He says every line, and then he quickly runs back off stage.
That was awesome. The whole part was so great. He's like, all right, I'm going to go. He just runs. But I do love the fact that when he gets back to the room, and it was funny when I started writing it, I wrote like, there's multiple men in the cabin. Then I'm like, oh, then there's 8 or 9. Wait, there's 8 or 9 in every closet, under the bed, everywhere.
But again, they all have clothes on except the ones in the closet. Why? And how big is that closet? Because there's a lot that came out of there.
I'm sure she has a lot of scantily clothes. How did they meet? How did she meet the captain? He must know what she was before.
Maybe he's like a Sherman. He might be like a Sherminator.
He's packing.
He could be packing. But again, I want to get back to this closet. One, again, why are they all naked? 2, how big is that closet? But like, they're all naked. It has to be 10 guys at least.
Yeah.
So if they're squeezing a closet, there's a lot of
poking. It's like when you're in the box and the magician's shoving the swords through.
Ugh. Somebody's getting stabbed. Okay, so closets are normally hot and to begin with. So like how hot and sweaty and smelly, and then you got all the poking going on. Like that's miserable.
Yeah, I don't know if I showed up.
I don't know if it's gonna be worth it.
I don't think no way it would be worth it. Even if I walked in, there was like one guy in there, I'd be like, oh man, am I in the wrong room? What's happening right now?
Well, I mean, Rusty knows her background, so I mean, I'm sure he doesn't care. Like I wonder, like at what number would he like have a problem with? Like 29, he didn't have a problem with, but like would he be annoyed if it like 50? Like, all right, forget 50 is way too many. 29's okay.
Well, again, remember that's 29 at that time. She's probably done a lot more than 29, probably like 2,900, maybe 29,000. But the fact that in this scene, he has nowhere to hide because everywhere's stuffed. There's guys everywhere. So he goes under, again, the dresses she's wearing, super, super hot. And I love that he's under the dress, Rusty, this actor, and he has that totally terrible fake mustache. And
all you see is the back of her.
Yeah.
And they keep zooming in. Look, what?
And he gets so close to her butt, and she was pretty funny in this scene. When she's talking to the captain, because it was during the intermission, and she just like her voice goes high when he like tickles her butt with the mustache. That was pretty funny. It's cool when you have people like she's been in like a few other things. Like she was in ECW wrestling for a little bit as manager. She was on Howard Stern a bunch as a guest, but that's some like cool chops to be able to nail that. That's like a hard thing in comedy. And no, that was such a funny scene.
No, she did. She did this whole part. It was very funny. And again, creative of all the spots to hide in. I must have been writing something down because I didn't know where he hid at first. And so when you first see her butt, I'm like, whose butt is that? Like, I didn't know he was under there until after they zoom out of there. And I'm like, I didn't realize what was going on.
So this captain is, again, we'll get into a little bit more about him later, but is he that dumb? that he thinks that, oh, there's a bunch of homos in the closet.
The amount of times he says that is ridiculous. Like
a lot.
Almost like uncomfortable the amount of times he said it. Like, you know, I'm surprised like they went in that direction. Because really, I don't know why he said it.
Yeah, and he even changes it later, which is kind of weird. Because later when he shows up to the play and they're like, oh, Dante, who we talked about a little bit, Dante admits to poisoning Stukas. So the captain stops and they're like, I can't stop. There's a gaggle of perverts in a dire need of a thrashing. So again, he even talks like Popeye to like the 1920s, 30s saying thrashing. But the fact that he says perverts then, but like he, in his mind, he thinks that these guys are in the room where his a gorgeous smoke show wife is just going about, and they're just in there to use the closets.
Well,
there's not a whole ship.
They do come out of the closet.
They do.
Well, yeah, I mean, But of all terms to use, like they're obviously there with his wife. So why would he say that? Like that seems so out of place. And like it was almost just, I mean, obviously it's very derogatory. But like it was even more derogatory because it made no sense.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It just proves how much of a dummy he was.
Oh, 100%.
Think that. Yeah. In that moment. And then how about the fact that I never thought it was going to happen? I thought it was going to be like one of those will they or won't they? But Jennifer and Topanga, they found the diamond and they start kissing.
Yeah. Yeah, but doesn't she pull away or no? I thought she pulled away.
Yeah, she does. Topanga does like after a little while.
Yeah.
But she's still
fighting it. So she's kind of fighting it.
Yeah. Right. I just didn't think it was going to happen. I thought it was going to be like one of those like jokes to reference like for the whole movie.
Well, I mean, considering they've been hinting at it the whole movie, I think most of the audience would be disappointed if nothing happened.
Yeah. And how about that the captain grabs a gun to shoot these again? If he's really thinking that it's homosexuals that are hooking up in the closets, he shouldn't be that mad. Like, I get it. It's in your wife's room and where you live. But the fact that he grabs a gun to chase them and he actually shoots one in the ass.
The big one. I think I love how they have the one fat guy. Like they had a bunch of like these like fit guys running around, no clothes on. And then they had the one fat guy.
I would, it'd be really cool to interview the writers and ask if they use that in ADR afterwards. Cause you don't see him chasing. You just see the guys running up the stairs. I wonder if one of those guys fell and they're like, man, let's get Richard in here just to do on a mic.
The fat guy fell, right?
Yeah.
So of course he fell. He was out of breath.
I know. But I wonder if that line was added, like not in the script, that they watch it. They're like, oh, it'd be great if Richard said, I got one.
That'd be fun.
The guy really just tripped. Because that was just insane. So then we find out that the captain is the bad guy. And his reasoning behind it, not about the money, just to be able to give his wife that diamond.
What is she going to do with it?
I have no idea.
So stupid.
But this is what I want to talk about now. So we kind of mentioned it earlier, but now while we're in this, like most of the time when we do this, we're like, oh my God. And all I can think about, so did this captain, knowing that Cavendish had this diamond, put together this whole thing and invited that Billingsley College? Like, how did he know he was going to be on the ship?
I was going to say, right. First of all, how did he know that Cavendish has the diamond? And that made absolutely no sense. I mean, that unless he's not really the captain, because he doesn't really act like a captain. So,
but just the fact that the timing of it, unless he was like, oh, that guy talked about diamond, he might have it. Everything
had to go perfect for this, again, a random school, the fact that, how do you know this teacher is going to be on there? Like you said, like, it just, nothing made sense. That's the exact stop. And the fact that he was hounding it. Like he knew the minute he was on there, because he obviously was stalking it from the beginning.
Yeah.
There was like, I feel like there was no closure to that because we were, no explanations were given.
Yeah. There could have been something instead of saying like, I'm going to give it to my wife. Right. He could have had he could have been like real diabolical, like change his tone of voice. No.
Or, they could have had like, maybe Cavendish when he first meets the captain, like they recognize each other from somewhere.
Yeah.
And then so you find out that, obviously Cavendish he's an Indiana Jones, and maybe, the captain was on one of the expeditions, and, that I think that would have explained a little bit better, and that's how you would know he had it, but no. Or have the monkey involved somehow, like the monkey planned the whole thing.
Yeah, or even having Cavendish come back to save the day. It's all dependent on this stoner. I don't know if he's a stoner.
You know what? If the monkey, if Cavendish did come, or the monkey did come back, or if the captain, but you find out that he was in cahoots with the monkey.
Cavendish or the captain?
Well, either one. Like I would say the captain, because since the captain was the bad guy, that he was in cahoots with the whole. Like at the end of the movie, you see them walking hand in hand with the diamond, and that
Wait, they're going off in the sunset. Them too, not with the wife.
Well, at this point, I mean,
Yeah, or the captain's like having the gun on like Pete and Wang, and they're about to shoot them, and then Choo Choo spurns his business partner. The captain jumps on the gun, maybe saves the day, but no, what saves the day is a friggin' the stupid guy who thought, hey, let me put duct tape on the light. That happens to fall out that moment, lands on his head, kills him.
And he's standing in the right spot.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then the judges go berserk, but Kato goes, man, I kind of saw the ending coming. Yeah, he saw that the ship's captain was going to be involved with this play.
So ridiculous.
Oh, my God. I love the part that I thought was pretty cool was that the dean's talking to the kids and he's like, Robin, you're not going to get your scholarship because I looked at the script and it wasn't the same words. We know that had anything to do with you. He goes, and I have this time.
Why would he care about that? Like his school got recognition for winning.
Of course.
It's so stupid.
Yeah. But who did they beat? The same, like, who are these other people? And they won out of 3 people. Yeah. It was like in high school, like when my buddy's girlfriend was on competition cheerleading, they came in 4th place out of 5 teams. That's cool, but I wouldn't tell anybody that. Just like this. Like, I came in first. Who else is there? 3 people.
Well, 3 people, but only one other team. So really, you came in first out of one person.
We didn't even see the other team perform. And the whole time in this movie, they said there was 3 teams and they had to cut it. It was like so bad, I guess. Oh my God.
Well, how do you beat 3 topless women? They probably forfeited. At that point, they're probably going on next. They're like, we can't top that.
That's true. So then the dean has the diamond. He puts it on the table. Choo Choo comes over, knocks it over, shatters. So we know that isn't the Pharaoh's heart. We'll get to the end. Well, but first, Rusty goes to see the captain's wife, and he takes a ticket, gets in line. And I wanted to mention this because she has no shame in it. So if she listens to this, but Tiffany, Jasmine St Claire, that's what she was known for. That's why like Howard loved her and always had her on. She didn't like hooking up with like muscle, like the porn star male guys. She would just find random.
You mean like Ron Jeremy?
Yeah, real muscular.
Oh, for a second I thought you were describing him.
Oh, that's great. He looks like the guy from Star Wars in the newer movies. The guy
he looks like he would be like your mechanic. Like if you brought your car to get fixed, like he's the guy checking the oil. Would have stained like guinea tea.
Well, in the porno industry, he did check the oil, I'm sure. That's probably the name of a few of the movies he was in. He's probably in sequels called Check the Oil 7 or something. Still didn't finish checking it yet.
Not sure I really want to see that one. Check the oil.
Oh man. So yeah, so he's waiting in line. Rusty, I guess, is gonna get laid. Newmar finally hits up with Vida Guerra, who's for the first time in the movie, you see like what she's known for. She's like dressed as a hot nurse. Oh, she got that from the play. Okay, good. Because Rachel, who we didn't really talk about, she was in the play. That whole thing with Rachel and Sherman the whole time. We like knew that was they were going to get back together. But the fact that she knew all the lines, she doesn't need to do that.
Yeah, no. It's well, see, she's a nerd. See the difference.
Oh, she is a nerd.
See? She's a nerd. He's a dork.
And that's compatibility, opposite.
So so you're saying there's a lot of happy endings in this movie.
There is a lot of happy endings. So then the end of the movie, Choo Choo sitting on the beach chair. Diamond. But that would have been a great ending. I think you have it right. Wouldn't it have been great? Choo Choo sitting there. No, you see the back of someone, kind of like the end of Wild Things. You see the back of a chair, you see a drink, or maybe like a waiter come over, bring the drink with the umbrella, the coconut, and then out of nowhere you see Cavendish walk up, and he's like, "We did it, you and me, partner." And you see him put a hand out, and it's Monkey.
You know what? I got a better one for you. I think it would be better if it was Rusty.
If it's Rusty.
Okay, so Rusty, like you see the monkey on the beach, and then you see a hand come out. You don't see the person yet. You see the hand shaking the monkey's hand, and then you turn around and you see it's Rusty. He went through all that crap the whole movie, and then he's the mastermind to the whole thing.
See, that would have been good. Or the Scooby-Doo Andy, the monkey goes like this, pulls the mask off, and it's Cavendish.
Wait, Cavendish as the monkey?
Yeah.
So you're saying that the monkey pulls like we're not talking about like I can understand if it was an orangutan that they're pretty big or a gorilla. You're saying the tiny monkey pulls his mask off and Cavendish is in that body. Okay.
We're living in a world where Sherman is sleeping with 3 girls.
You know what? Hold on. I think that's more believable. The monkey pulling his face off than Sherman with these girls. It's okay. You're right. You win.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So, man, I think we covered so much of like what they could have done. So would you recommend somebody checking out this movie?
You know, I have mixed feelings about that. I was not a fan of the movie. Again, it's a long movie for what it was. And like, there was definitely a lot of dumb, like parts that just really, I did not laugh at, but because of Rusty, I think it's worth watching. I think he definitely nailed it, and I think he has a lot of funny parts. If you're really not into the movie, just fast forward to Rusty parts. But I would say, you have to watch it. I think there's enough funny parts to get through some of the boring parts.
No, I agree. Like again, with these movies, when you go into it, you're just gonna get like over the top again. There's plots throughout it. Like the girls crush it in this movie. All their lines are funny. And it's Rusty. Rusty in Jasmine's room and the captain's wife.
100%. There's the shower scene. I mean, I think for if honestly, if Rusty was not in the movie, I would say absolutely not. Don't watch it. But he breaks up the parts where I was just like, it's dragging a little bit because I can't. I mean, to me, Sherminator is just like I can't even look at him. So like it just. All the other dorks were just like, they weren't funny, but Rusty really nailed it. So I think,
No, 100% agree. So I don't like to do this sometimes because sometimes it can be long, but on Amazon, the review, I don't even know how many stars it was. I didn't even look at that, but this is funny. So I went to a screening of Dorm Daze 2 last night. My cousin worked on it, so that might make me a little biased. But anyway, I laughed my ass off. The crowd was mostly people from the film who automatically are going to like it, but it was still one of the funniest movies I've seen this year. I don't know when this came out, but the plot doesn't die halfway through, and then you get stuck on the same lame joke over and over again. Maybe.
Wait. He says it does. The same joke is not being. The whole movie is the same joke.
No, I know. That's what most of these kind of movies are. Yeah, but this part's gonna make you laugh. He goes, "There's a lot of female nudity, which I think offended the old lady behind me. And unfortunately, there's also a lot of naked man ass, which made me want to gouge my eyes out. Note to all producers, no man should ever be naked on film. The male body is meant to be covered in a burqa at all times. However, thank you for all the naked females. There can never be too much naked female. Yours truly, Gandhi."
Now, do you think it's the real Gandhi?
I hope so. I don't know if it'd be better if it was the real Gandhi or it was, oh man, what's his name? The guy who played Gandhi.
Oh, Ben Kingsley. Yeah. That would have been, or if he signed it, Sherminator.
Oh man, so that was Dorm Daze 2, and the next sequel up is our very first Steven Seagal movie, and I think it's like one of our rare. I think there's some sequels that he did, and then possibly Mark for Death 2, which should be really right. Wasn't it Mark for Death 2 or no?
No, I don't think he did a second.
Oh, Above the Law 2.
No,
it's not out yet. No. I'm saying you sent me an IMDb. They're talking about possibly doing an Above the Law. Now,
yeah, right. But no, I think Under Siege is the only sequel he's done. I think so.
I think so. I think I don't know if he was in Machete Kills. No, he was in Machete. He was in one of those as the bad guy.
He was in one of those, yeah. But anyway. But it's not a Seagal movie. Like, to me as a cameo, it doesn't count. Like as a Seagal movie, you know what? I'm thinking about it. Like, I wonder why he's never done, because like his first few movies were such big hits. I'm surprised. Maybe his ego's so big. He's like one and done. I'm not doing it. I can't because it doesn't make sense. Like he normally would, you would think he would have done another one because he probably would have crushed it.
Do movie sequels. Wow, Steven Seagal's here.
By far your best impression. I think we said it last time.
I did it. Yeah. I know it got to my head, so I practiced it and then I'm ready to throw it out. I think there's going to be a lot in 2 weeks when Andrew's back. Andrew Powers, our action movie expert, Best of the Best 2, Death Wish 3, and now Under Siege 2, which again, this one, it's on a train. He's trying to babysit his annoying niece the whole time, played by the perfectly annoying Katherine Heigl. I don't like her at all, but this led to for us
a lot of people. You know what's funny? Before I think she's almost like the female version of Seagal in Hollywood. A lot of people say she's difficult.
Wow.
So she probably learned from Seagal. I'll say she probably learned from Seagal.
Here's some pointers. Never go to set. Get a stand in for all your scenes.
I think you're better than everybody.
Yeah, I think you're better than everybody. So Katherine Heigl, and that led to one of the coolest interviews. Another legendary villain. The fact that we talked to Vernon Wells, legend in the 80s and 90s, and still now, like all the movies that he does. But Patrick Kilpatrick, the perfect name for a villain, for a henchman. In this movie, he plays henchman number 2. He's not in it too much, but just think about his career. Sandman, the main villain against Van Damme, and Death Warrant, Best of the Best 2. He's awesome in that as Finch. Three Ninjas Knuckle Up, insane role.
I gotta tell you, man, in Death Warrant, is it Death Warrant? Death Warrant, right? When he's walking into that prison and Van Damme sees him, he first of all, he's such a big guy, but like he's just awesome. Like he really is.
But yeah, so that's a great chat that you're gonna love. He's a real actor's actor, and his voice is just like in the movie. It's like that's not an act. He's very with his delivery. And it was cool because Michael Cavalieri had worked with him on a couple movies. So that'll be fun. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check out our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.